Assalamu alaikum everyone, and today we are going to talk about angles and radians. So we know trigonometry is about triangles. Now let's review what they are made of. Angles. Yeah. So we have been seeing this about angles. Let's see some stuff. Now, angles, an unknown angle can be represented by the Greek letter theta. We saw that in my last trigonometry video. So, we know that if the angle is elevated anti-clockwise from the x-axis, theta will be positive. Let me show you with my scale here. See, it goes anti-clockwise, theta would be positive. But if it went clockwise from the x-axis, by the way, the x-axis is the starting, this one. So, like this, if the theta would be negative. So, we have been calculating angles by only one unit. And that unit is degrees. But now, let's look at a new thing which helps us calculate angles, which are radians. Now, what are these radians stuff? You see, this is also a unit where if you say, let's suppose the unit circle. So I couldn't draw a perfect circle because that's very hard, but I drew pretty close enough. Now if we give 2 radii, because it's not radius, it's actually radii of r, the sentient will also be r, a sector of with the arc length equal to these. Now, since the circumference equals to the pi times diameter, it can also be represented as 2 pi times the radius, which can also be represented, which can mean that a radian, let's just give a big R, 2 pi radians will be 365 degrees. So now what? Let's see the degrees and their radians. Let's see some important degrees and convert them into radians. So 360 degrees, 180 degrees, and 90 degrees, 45 degrees. Now, let's convert them into radians. 365 degrees equals to 2 pi radians, and 180 degrees is pi radians. I'm using this now, but it doesn't matter. Pi over 2 radians, and now pi over 4 radians. So the pi over 2 is 90 and pi over 4 is 45. Some mouthful. Now the equation we might use for converting degrees to radians, let's now convert degrees to radians. the equation we would use is r equals to d over 180 times pi, where r is radians and d is degrees. Now let's say we want to do the opposite. We want to take radians and convert it into degrees. Doing a bit of algebra, we can find out that degrees would be the radian value divided by pi times 180. You can check my algebra videos and do that. Now we know about the two main units of measuring angles. Now, what does circles have to do with the triangles? You see, as we done here, now if I take a line and put it down, touching the x-axis and how it's elevated, we certainly form a triangle. Now if we form many of these radii, let's say, now I'm gonna do it like this, the legs get different, but the hypotenuse stays the same in all these cases, whatever radii you want to make. And the relationship that it's going can be represented by sine, cosine, tangent, and the reciprocals, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. In my previous trigonometry video, again, all the links are in the description video, even in my angles and triangles, all those videos. So that's all there is to it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.